Hundreds of Beavers is available online. Indie film that was technically made all the way back in 2022, has been showed on various festivals across the next 2 years, and only recently was released to wider audiences on the internet. It's a feature debut of director Mike Cheslick, and it's quite an unbelievable film. Because you know how sometimes people will say, especially about an older movie, oh, they don't make films like these anymore. Well, they don't make films like this one anymore. And in fact, I'm pretty sure the only time they ever did was 100 years ago, in the era of Buster Keaton, for whose work this film is an incredible love letter and homage. It's also very clearly inspired by all the crazy Looney Tunes and the other Warner Brothers cartoons, and it essentially just is one, just in live action with actors blended in with animated elements. It's a black and white, essentially silent film about a man who finds himself stranded in a wintry forest in the early days of America and has to learn to become a fur trapper in order to first survive, then thrive, and finally win the heart of the girl he likes. So in a series of hijinks, sketches, and whack situations, he becomes better and better at trapping and hunting various rabbits, skunks, and of course the titular beavers, all played by people in fursuits apparently bought cheaply online. Words don't do it justice, and as the film was beginning, I thought to myself, wow, that's a nice little window into the past, a collection of wacky silent film sketches, but is this just gonna be it? Can it sustain that concept for 2 straight hours? Well, turns out it can, because all those seemingly just loosely related funny scenes do come together to create a coherent narrative that constantly builds upon previous gags, references them, takes them further and further, and pays every setup off. It is incredibly inventive and creative and just stunningly impressive in terms of how well it's made, despite the fact that it's clearly been made on an incredibly low budget by a very much not professional studio. The film uses all sorts of tricks, animation, drawings, green screens, silly costumes and props to constantly make genuinely funny jokes. It's very obviously a labor of love made with great care and attention to detail. And the result is a film that is foolish, insane, and just bloody silly on the surface, but actually genius underneath. It is unique, unlike anything else I've ever seen, all the while paying homage to its classic inspirations. It is not for everyone, and I can definitely see most people turning it off 10 minutes in, thinking it's just too dumb. And in fact, I think actually most people will never hear of it because it's such a niche film. I don't expect this movie to get wide release or promotion or recognition. It's kind of an accident that I even heard about it and decided to check it out on a whim. But I can see it becoming a small cult film that movie geeks will go back to over the years and learn to appreciate. And of course, I cannot recommend it enough as a film that you can watch while getting high with friends, because I think you're going to have a blast then. I personally loved it, and if what I said about it seems in any way interesting, do yourself a favor, seek it out, because they don't make films like this one anymore.